Piers Morgan has denied knowing anything about phone hacking practices undertaken by journalists during his tenure as editor of the Daily Mirror during a BBC grilling.
We were here last. A High Court judge has ruled that you did know that there was hacking of voicemails when you were the editor of the Daily Mirror. Did you know that anyone at the paper was using material that they got by hacking voicemails?
No, and I've said this consistently in 20 years. I'm not going to say any more about it, other than to say they found in one case, I mean, I was the main story, I noticed, the BBC led on me for days.
You hate being the main story, of course.
Well, I didn't really, listen, it's fine. I mean, I find the whole idea of Prince Harry suing anyone for privacy involving the royal family, given how aggressively he's invaded the family's privacy himself, laughable. But on this central point, I've said for 20 years, I did not know about phone hacking at the Daily Mirror. They found one story in that whole case, which the judge concluded may or may not have come from phone hacking. And I'm sorry, that's not enough.
Well, the judge, and it's Judge Fancourt at the High Court, he accepted the evidence of several witnesses who claimed you were aware that stories you were publishing were the product of phone hacking. So you're saying today that the High Court is wrong, and they were wrong to say, and I will quote from the judge, there was compelling evidence that the editors of each newspaper knew very well that voicemail interception was used extensively and habitually. Judge Fancourt is wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat myself again. There is no evidence that I ever knew about phone hacking. And I would also say, in relation to those who trotted down to the High Court to give evidence, I was never allowed that privilege. I wasn't called by either side to talk about this at all. And yet I became the front poster boy for the trial, which I found ludicrous. There were a lot of people down there spewing utter nonsense.
But you say there's no evidence that you were aware.
There isn't.
But I'm asking you directly, were you
I've
ever
just
aware?
answered you.
And have you ever listened to a voicemail without the consent of the person whose phone it was?
No, you asked me that last time.
I didn't. Last time you didn't quite answer, which is why I'm asking you again.
Each time I come on, you can ask me the same questions. I don't mind. I've been asked about this for 20 years. There is no evidence that I knew. If somebody wants to produce some that doesn't involve people like Alistair Campbell trotting down, who spun this country into a legal war, or Omid Scobie, who published a load of nonsense about the royal family, these people go down there and they're allowed to spray me in court, and I wasn't allowed to defend myself.
I'm giving you that opportunity right now just to get this absolutely on the record. I'm not asking you, is there evidence? I'm asking you directly, have you ever listened to a voicemail message of somebody who did not have without their consent?
No, I've just answered you.
OK, and that's clear. And last time you didn't quite answer, and you have today, and
next
that's
time I come back, we don't have to have the same conversation.
Well,
because the BBC has, I have to say, the BBC has revelled in my involvement in this without any actual evidence to justify me being centre stage. And I don't blame you personally, but it is a little bit galling given I wasn't even involved in the case. Nobody called me on either side or put any of these questions to me. They just had a bunch of ne'er-do-well little chances going down to court, spraying me with all sorts of nonsense, demonstrable, provable nonsense.
Well, you've had your chance to come back on it today. I know that you're a believer in firm but fair questioning.
I absolutely am.
The only question that remains, it seems, is that if phone hacking had become so widespread at MGN publications to the point of becoming habitual by 1998, how did Morgan not know about it?